2, 1.
Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome for being a part of our first great adventure of doing a virtual tour of the School for an Open Day. It's very exciting to be involved in this, and we welcome you all. It's a little strange. We've not done this before, so we're looking forward to seeing actually how it turns out. But as always, when people turn up and are involved in something at our school, I hope that today doesn't just have lots of information for you, but it also, you leave with a sense of a feeling of this school, what our community is about, and all the magnificent things that go on here. Just in broad terms to start off, in this virtual world, we're going to go through our normal sort of procedure of inviting students, staff to be involved and to answer questions and to present aspects of the life of our school. And then there'll be an opportunity at the end to ask questions as well. There is actually an opportunity throughout this process, throughout the presentation, to ask questions. If you'd like to go on through the chat and put it in, we've got somebody who's actually putting it together. So I feel a little bit like Tony Jones on Q&A or Hamish McDonald these days. So it's all a little bit strange, but anyway, we'll give it a go. Some things that I'd just like to flag with you, if you don't already know, is that our school, the Geelong College, is about 1,420 students from early learning through to year 12. We're a Uniting Church school, so we're associated with the Uniting Church and have been associated with the church throughout our history of the school. We're a boarding school as well. We have about just under 100 boarders from many different places, some from close by here within Geelong, some from the Surf Coast, some from other areas around in the hinterland of Geelong itself, and some boarders coming from regional Victoria, New South Wales, other areas of Australia or overseas. It's a very rich group of young people living together, and it's a wonderful community. If you're interested in that, there'll be great opportunities to find out more about that today and hopefully over time through is by visiting. It's important for you to know as well that we're actually, the richness in the life of this school is that we are very involved and committed to a true liberal education. So the roundedness in the education, which means that academic achievement is something that we value very, very significantly, but so too do we value the opportunity for our young people to be involved in a whole range of activities. Music, sport, drama, outdoor experiences, community service, all those things we think are very important, because the Geelong College is not the end of their education, it's just an important stepping stone in the education of our young people. Worthwhile mentioning too that we're an APS school. As an APS school, we're a group of 11 schools in Victoria who meet regularly as a sporting group. It started off really almost exclusively or solely as a sporting group, but it is more significant than that now for us. Our senior students in particular are involved in social service activities across all of those 11 schools, and the leaders in the schools meet to be involved in that. There's a wonderful sense of community across our schools and a great sense of rivalry as well as camaraderie. So the APS is a big part of who we are. It's also very important this week that we recognise that it is Reconciliation Week, and I would have normally started by doing this, but I've lost my rhythm today. We would normally say that we acknowledge the Wadawurrung people, who are the traditional custodians of the lands upon which this school is located. And it's also important to recognise we honour the elders past, present and emerging, and recognise that culture and this as a place of learning for thousands of years. And we respectfully take our place on this site and as a place of learning and community, and look to make sure that we leave it even better than perhaps we found it. It's a big week for us. It's a very exciting week for us. We're going to go to a video shortly, and but before we do, I'd just like to say that we've had one of the things this week that has been very exciting, and you'll see this hopefully in your virtual tours, is we have finally been able to move into our junior school, the redeveloped Campbell House, which is a hugely exciting program for us. All of the students came back to school yesterday and moved into the in the junior school from early learning to year 3 into this brand new facility all at once. It was a hugely exciting day. The project's been nearly 3 years in the making. It's world class. It's absolutely extraordinary. It's going to provide an amazing environment inspired by the Reggio Emilia approach to education, where they talk about the environment being the third teacher. It is an amazing physical space, and I hope that on an open day at any time you might be able to come along and visit and see something of that facility. It's really worth seeing. You won't see anything else anywhere just quite like it just yet. You will in the future though. It's a model for the future. What I'm going to ask now is we're going to move to a video. It's a video that was put together a couple of years ago, about 3 years ago. The title of it is Who We Are. It was actually a collaborative project between a Year 12 student and one of our members of staff who's involved in our video making here. I think it's reasonably self-explanatory, but again, it's inspired also by Reggio Emilia approach about wondering. And I hope that you might get a sense of the thread as you look at the video, who we are, about the experiences through the eyes of a young girl as she's wondering about her future and what that might hold for her at this school. So thanks, Joel. If you put that on, thank you. Well, thank you. And look, I hope that you enjoyed seeing that video. I've seen it many, many times, and I still thoroughly enjoy it. I think it really does capture an element of who we are and the range of experiences for our students in the school. We'll now welcome today's panel of students and staff. They're ready to share their experiences of college with you. First of all, I'd like you to welcome Georgie and Matt. They're our 2020 college captains. Isla will be coming along as she's a Year 10 boarder. Sam is in Year 8 and is not with us at school here today. He's actually at home. And Lucy, who's in Year 2. We'll also have with us today the head of senior school, Mr. Simon Young, the head of middle school, Ms. Leanne Russell, and the head of junior school, Sandra Wood, and the admissions manager, Ms. Kristen Wodrowski. So what I'd like to do is just to invite forward both Georgie and Matt onto screen, and I've got a few questions to ask them. Well, that worked. Good morning. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Hi, Dr. Miller. Very well, thank you as well.
Good. So yesterday was the first day back at school. How did it go?
Oh, it was awesome for me. I love seeing everyone. I feel like it's been quite a while, but it also did feel like we hadn't left as well. It was a bit weird. It was like we hadn't had those 8 weeks off because everyone kind of just got straight back into it, but it's definitely very good to be back.
Yeah, it's been really good at home, but I think everyone felt yesterday that it hasn't really been that long a time at home because everyone's been working really hard and the teachers have been amazing with helping us get through our studies. So I think everyone felt like it hasn't been a long time at all, and everyone just really enjoyed getting back to school and seeing everyone.
So that social connection was a big part of it yesterday, and there was a real sense of that out at Helican Place and around. And it was a little bit awkward though too, wasn't it? People were a little bit out of whack. It seemed a little strange. Didn't quite know what to do and what can we do, but it worked okay.
People like practicing their social distancing and stuff, but didn't know how close and they could sit next to each other or what they could do. But I think really people were sensible with all the restrictions that took place because they know that we want to stay on campus. So to stay on campus, we do have to implement the restrictions and just look out for one another. But everyone was excited. So I guess there was a bit of, because it was the first day, there probably was a bit of close contact, but not too close because obviously the 1.5 metre rule.
The boys were a bit crazy. They were running around and it was good to be back seeing everyone. So yeah.
I think
the atmosphere was great. I loved it.
It was a lovely atmosphere, and I actually don't think I'm telling tales out of school when I say that the Year 12 boys were playing chasings.
Yep, that's how it went.
That's correct.
So allowed to be kids here, which is nice. So tell me, the questions that I've got here are really, what does it mean to be a leader at college? Tell us about that for you guys in your experience.
Well, for me, being a leader of the college is certainly a privilege. It's an honour to be able to represent the students of Geelong College today and to also uphold the legacy of the past leaders as well. I was inspired by those leaders before me who I saw spoke at open days like these or other college events, and I thought I would love the opportunity to be able to do the same thing. So as a leader, I hope to show and encourage everyone that everything is possible if you have a go, and to always support all students to step outside their comfort zone and make all the most of what college has to offer. Personally, it has given me enormous opportunities to build on leadership skills that I will draw on for the rest of my personal and professional life.
As Georgie said, it's a huge honour to be a leader of the college, and it's a school that has such a rich history and rich culture of leadership and leaders leading by example. And I think that's the main thing for me, is setting that example for the younger students, having an impact on their lives and really setting a good foundation for the school in the next few years. Because as a prefect team, Georgie and I are leading a group of people that are really concentrated on leaving a legacy that the school can say, oh, that year level did a really good job. It's up to the next year level to live up to that standard and do the same thing. And I think that's the motivating factor with us to really set a good example for the younger students coming through by giving our best and doing things that maybe we're not used to doing, or doing things out of our comfort zone. That is a really, really big factor in the school community, which is a really rich one.
Okay, well, thank you. Tell me about the academic involvement at school, the subjects that you do and the things that you enjoy about those, around those subjects, and then we'll go to the co-curricular after. But tell me about the subjects, the academic aspects first.
Well, I study English, maths, chemistry, French and PE, and last year I completed biology. And personally, I think the opportunity to be able to do a Year 12 subject in Year 11 was really beneficial in many ways. It allowed me to adapt to Year 12 study habits and acknowledge how much work was going to be needed to obtain the best result that I needed. But there's a broad range of many different subjects that you can do, and I think that's what is so beneficial to all of us here at college, because you can do the subjects that you want to do, and that's how you will enjoy your final year, because you're actually going to classes that you want to learn about. And I think that's what helps a lot of students, and because we have the broad range of opportunities, that helps a lot.
Thank you, Matt.
I'm similar to Georgie in that I'm doing a lot of science subjects. So I'm doing chemistry, physics, biology, English and maths. And last year I did PE as well, which was, like Georgie said, it's more about the experiences that you gain and the foundation that you gain studying a year 12 subject. So it sets you up really well for year 12. And I think even from year 10, we start thinking about what we want to do as adults in our careers, and we have an amazing careers department that help us choose our subjects and our interests that set you up for year 12 perfectly. And I think that's such a broad range of subjects that you can choose from. So everyone's doing something different, a great mix of subjects, and it's really, really interesting to see how people develop with their subjects. So yeah, it's amazing the broad range of subjects we can choose from.
Thank you. And I mentioned earlier about liberal education and the fact that we have such a commitment to that, the breadth of experience of students here, so in classroom and outside of the classroom, of the co-curricular activities and things that you've done over the years. Maybe you want to tell us about the sports and things that you currently do, or the involvement in music and other programs, or maybe even something about the camps and experiences that you've had. That's pretty broad, but anything about the co-curricular that you'd like to share?
Yeah, well, academia isn't the only thing we do here, because the co-curricular activities and the opportunities here at college are endless. And that is something that I've always been told by my parents, to embrace every opportunity that is offered and to have a go. And I really couldn't be more thankful for this advice. So I'm not someone who is naturally gifted in the performing arts area, but I participated in the school production for 2 years and I loved every second of it. I met new people, I did something out of my comfort zone, and by the end of it, I was like, that was awesome. And well, the APS sports system, in which I do tennis in the summer and netball in the winter, is something that I treasure tremendously and really enjoy, as it gives us the chance to work in a team environment and create relationships between the year levels, as well as representing our school. And along with that also comes the house system here. It's an aspect of the school that allows the students to boost morale and between the students and the houses, where everyone can thrive in different areas, whether it be sport, music, debating, arts, anything like that. And then the endless camps and fulfilling lives that we have are something that I will never forget. And I'm so thankful that I got the opportunity to be able to partake in such a rewarding experience.
Thanks, Georgie.
I'm the same with Georgie. For me, it's all about trying to leave this school having not left any stones unturned, and really try and broaden myself and expand myself by giving myself the opportunity to participate in a huge range of things, whether it be music. I played trumpet and I'm in 3 different ensembles where we rehearse in the mornings, and then sport in the afternoon. So I'm playing footy in winter, and I used to play cricket in summer, but we've finished our summer season now. I think, like Georgie mentioned before, it's amazing the interconnection you have between year levels. I remember training with the first footy squad in year 9 and having friends in year 12. And I think that's a really important part of this culture, is that connection between the year levels, and then that expands out into the schoolyard during the day. You know, you see a year 12 as a year 9 and they say hello to you and have a chat to you, and that's about setting that example. And you, as a year 9, you really look up to the year 12s, and I think being involved in those different activities outside of your schoolwork, because we're with other year levels, it's really, really amazing to see what example they're setting before us. And I think Georgie mentioned fulfilling lives is another one. I got the chance to go to Thailand in year 10, and we built a house for a community family that didn't have anything, and it was just amazing to be able to give that to them and see their faces after that. So I think they're some of the opportunities that we have at this school that really work to expand everyone.
So you both have a very full program, and all of the students in the school do 2 sports a year. Some students do a 3rd sport with in springtime, which is water polo or athletics, and then music is in addition to that. So just the broad experience for all the students in the school is 2 sports a year, but then there's all these other extras. And Georgie mentioned the production as well that she's been involved in. Unfortunately, this year we're not able to do our musical because of the current circumstances, which is a great shame. But those sorts of things are very rich experiences for the children. The last question from me to you is, what plans or ideas for next year? I spoke to you a couple of weeks ago about this individually when I met with the Year 12s and one-on-one. But share them if you'd like to share them with others. Plans? Have you got plans, or have you just got ideas at this stage for next year?
I think mine are ideas, like what I would like to do. So I study mostly science-based subjects, and this is my interest. So after school, I hope to go to Melbourne Uni and study science. I would also like to stay at a residential college in Melbourne. This is an experience I've heard a lot from past college students, which has made me keen to pursue the experience also. So that's a big thing that I think is good, because we do have those relationships between the year levels. So when they do leave, they give you all the insight to what it's like after school as well, because you still maintain those connections, because at school they were so strong. So we still keep in contact with them, and they still tell me how uni's going, how college is going. And with all their knowledge and stuff, we have the careers advisor, who I personally think is the best careers advisor there is out there. You couldn't get someone better than Mr. Blades. And if you go to any other school, they might say the same, but this is truly different story. He knows everything. You can go to him whenever you like. His doors are always open. People think, oh, I don't know what to do after school, I'm so stressed. You go talk to him and he knows everything off the top of his head. He is amazing, and he has certainly helped me with knowing what I want to do after school, because I was a bit indecisive. But with his guidance, I feel 3,000 times better. So we are very lucky here at college to have him.
We are.
I'm quite similar to Georgie again, in that I'm interested in studying health science and medicine in the future. And I think medicine's such a broad course that everywhere offers it. So I think I'm that excited to do it that I think I would just go anywhere that I got an offer. And because it is quite competitive, I think you have to take that chance to just go where you get accepted, even if it's only one university that accepts you. But also, I've been having ideas of going to either Canberra to study at ANU or to study at Melbourne, like Georgie. They've both got really good reputations for health science and medicine, so I think that's on my radar at the moment. But as Georgie said, the careers department at college are just amazing with the support they give you, and they're always open for you to walk past and pop your head in and say hello, and help you with anything, any concerns that you might have. So that's a real strength of the school as well.
And the sorts of things you're talking about are pretty consistent, I think, with the experiences of many other students over the last few years of looking at, traditionally the connection was very strongly to Melbourne alone, but as you mentioned, Matt, in particular around ANU, interstate, it's my clock, interstate, and lots of other opportunities elsewhere. There's plenty of that. What I'd like to do now is to thank you both very much for sharing those things with everybody. And we wish you all the very best in the coming months, and as you sort of settle back down into some sort of a normal routine back at school with your studies. And we're very lucky to have you both. So thank you for your involvement this morning and for all you do around the place. It's wonderful.
Thanks, Dr. Miller.
Pleasure. Now, I'd like to invite the head of junior school, Ms. Sondra Wood, to introduce our youngest panel member today. Thanks, Ms. Wood. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Dr. Miller. And welcome everyone, welcome to the Geelong College. It's my great pleasure to introduce Lucy Miller, who is one of our youngest panel member today. Lucy has been a student at the Geelong College since she was 3 years old. So she's been with us since she was very small. And I asked her this morning if she can still remember those days, and she does remember having her prep enrolment interview with me when she was 4 years old. So now she is in year 2, and this is her first time doing an interview like this. So we both said today that we both haven't done this before, so we're going to see how we go, and we're going to both learn from this experience, aren't we, Luce?
Yeah.
Yeah. So welcome, Lucy. As Dr. Miller shared, we have been in a building project for the last 3 to 4 years Last year as a school, we were so excited to open our brand new Performing Arts Centre, Waiapiri, which means in the Wadawurrung language, a place to meet, where we hold our school assemblies, our musical items and performing arts. At the beginning of this term, this year, we opened our Early Learning Centre, where our 3 and 4-year-olds come. And then yesterday, we were so proud and excited to open our brand new learning spaces for Prep to 3. Lucy, you've been involved in a very different style of learning this term. And yesterday we returned to school. What did you most enjoy about coming back to school?
Seeing my friends in the new classroom.
Were your friends excited to see you?
Yeah.
There was certainly a buzz in the air. Do you think that everyone was most excited about seeing each other or being in the new learning spaces?
I reckon they were most excited about seeing each other.
And do you think that everyone's happy with the new learning spaces?
Yeah.
So what do you think is the best part of the new school?
I'd say probably the wall with the pattern, with the bricks with the pattern where you can sit and play there.
Yes, and I'm not sure if people have driven past the new junior school, you will have noticed the large brick wall that surrounds our school. As Dr. Miller shared, our school is designed around a Reggio Emilia approach to learning, and we have been so fortunate that the architects have used this model when they designed our school. And the brickwork is used as a symbol to wrap itself around the children and protect the children, much like the city walls in the town of Reggio Emilia in northern Italy protects the community there. And the brickwork is also part of our history, our Scottish history. And it's, if you're a knitter and you think of that knit one, purl one, the pattern of the bricks is actually reflective of a fair old jumper. So our school is really connected to our history of past, present and future. And I was very pleasantly surprised when Lucy shared that she really enjoys the brickwork. What other parts about the new school do you like, Lucy, that you think you could share with everyone?
I'd say probably the big space in front of the classroom.
We do have lots of spaces. Would you like to share with people what are some of the things in the spaces that you may not normally think is in your everyday classroom?
Probably some of the easels that are in the classroom.
Yeah, there's lots of spaces for easels, for designing, creating. What else could we do in the classroom, which we can't do at the moment due to some of the restrictions?
Some of our classrooms have kitchens, so maybe some of the cooking.
Yeah, so I think we're all excited about doing some cooking together once the restrictions leave. So every learning space has its own indoor kitchen and outdoor kitchen. And again, that's aligned to our learning outdoors and using the environment as the third teacher in our Reggio Emilia approach. Lucy, you've been a student here since you were 3 years old. Do you have a favourite memory so far of the junior school that you'd like to share with everyone?
The school bell.
The school bell. And the school bell has been a memory of Campbell House for many, many, many years. Each year we invite the Year 12 students back to say goodbye to Campbell House, who were students when they were here, when they were younger. And when I ask them what their favourite memory is, it's also the school bell. And even though we have beautiful state-of-the-art buildings with every gadget and electronic device that you can imagine, we've still been able to retain the recording of our school bell so the children know when it's time to come into school and leave the school. So it's still very symbolic and part of who we are. Thank you so much for sharing with us, Lucy. Please come and visit our amazing new school. As Dr. Miller said, it certainly is amazing. One of the prep children told me yesterday that it was epic, and I see it as a lighthouse a beacon for education, not only locally but regionally and nationally. It's just such an amazing space for hope, wondering and exploration of learning, not only for our students of the present, but certainly for our students of the future. So thank you, everyone. I'd now like to invite Mrs. Leanne Russell, who's head of our middle school.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome. I have with me this morning one of our Year 8 students, Sam McLean. So Sam's going to be answering a few questions for me about his experience at Geelong College, but in particular the middle school. But Sam, we might start off with how long you've been at Geelong College for. When did you start here with us?
I started at the Geelong College in Year 1, and I've been here for just over 7 years now. So I came through Campbell House and all the way up to the middle school.
Lovely. So Sam, you've been here half your lifetime, really. So we've got a number of transition points, if you like, through the college, certainly from junior school through to Year 4 when you start here at the middle school. And then again, there's a bit of a transition point when we go from 3 classes of Year 6 to 6 classes of Year 7. Can you explain to people what that was like? So the whole step from Year 6 to 7, when you were a group of 3 or around about 70 Year 6 students to all of a sudden being around 150 Year 7s. Can you explain to people what that transition was like from 6 to 7?
Yeah, so it was a big transition because over 70 something students came. It was good to meet new friends, and I've still got friends from Year 6 that were at the college in Year 6, and I've got new friends that have came from different schools that I've met before. So it's a good opportunity to meet new kids, make new friends, and sort of build new friendship groups with other people that you maybe wouldn't have known if they didn't come to the school.
Terrific, Sam. And what was there a highlight for you in Year 7? What was the highlight for you last year? I
really liked the APS sporting thing because I haven't done APS sport before, so I do tennis and basketball, and it was good to, work with kids that I'm not really friends with, and sort of grow a new relationship with them while going up to Melbourne and playing different schools.
Yeah, the APS sport is certainly part of who we are as a community. You're exactly right, and I think Georgie mentioned that before, and Matt. This year you've stepped into Year 8, which is the eldest cohort, if you like, at the middle school, and you're part of the Student Representative Council. In fact, you're the captain, if you like, of the middle school in that role. So do you want to explain to the people online today what the SRC is all about and what they're hoping to achieve, I guess, at the middle school?
Well, the SRC is all about making the school a better place. So we have 3 groups: community, compassion, environment, all trying to make the school a better place. Compassion being making fundraisers for local communities, environment trying to sustain our school, making it as sustainable as possible, and community trying to build the school as a community with new friends and just making the school a better place to be, I guess.
Yeah, great. And as folks can see, Sam is actually still at home remote learning, given he doesn't normally wear his red hoodie to school and his headphones while he's here. So, Sam, one of the things that you will do and launch into when you come back for the last couple of weeks of this term is the Year 8 Create project. So you'll be introduced to that, but you've heard a little bit about that already, having seen what the Year 8s did last year. Do you want to tell people today a little bit about Create project and maybe some ideas around what you're going to do in the Create project?
So by looking at the previous Year 8 Create projects, it's all about, finding what your passion is and sort of making something around your passion, whether it be making things, whether it be drawing or something else. I'm into basketball, so I'm still trying to find some couple of ideas to do. Haven't confirmed an idea what I'm going to do, but I can't wait for when the time comes to do something with my Create project. Yeah.
Great. And just to explain to people, the Create Projects is very much, apart from a passion project, very much an individual project. So the children sort of drive their own learning throughout that process, and they get themselves a mentor and spend around 20 hours outside of school time developing, learning or creating, as Sam mentioned, something during that time. Sam, this is your final year at middle school. What are you looking forward to for the rest of this year, apart from getting back to school, I hope, and then moving to senior school? What do you think the next 6 months or so is going to look like for you?
Well, I'm really enjoying Year 8 electives right now. So you do 2 electives each semester. So I can't wait to start my next 2. And I guess, you know, continuing in the middle school as an SRC captain and trying to improve the school. Yeah.
Yeah. Great. One of the other big milestones, if you like, is the Year 8 camp. Do you want to explain to people a little bit about what you know about the Year 8 camp? Do you know much about it?
I know a little about it. It's more like a sort of a camping trip where you go hiking. I'm not sure where it is, but you go hiking with a group, doing different things, carrying all your gear, sort of camping outside with a mentor, sort of, you know, learning how to do stuff outside and be more independent.
Yeah, definitely. It's a bit of a rite of passage for our Year 8s as they move across to Year 9, and it's almost like an expedition, 8 days with a backpack and a tarp to sleep under, and food drops every couple of days, because it is quite the challenge, and really something that's well remembered, if you like, by the children who make their way through Geelong College. Okay. Lastly, Sam, from me, is there anything that you would like to share with anybody listening to us this morning with regards to Geelong College? What do you think they need to know?
Going through the middle school, there's a lot of unique opportunities definitely through 4, 5 and 6, there's different themes to you know, find new passions such as in the environment, robotics and media through filming and editing footage of filming. There's also you can do like different robotics competitions out of school. There's music things. You can excel in sporting things such as athletics through house sport, and it's just a good place to be. There's a lot of new good facilities and good opportunities.
Great. Well, thank you, Sam, for joining us this morning. And I'm now going to throw to our head of senior school, Mr. Simon Young. So thank you.
Thank you, Leanne, and thanks, Sam. It's my pleasure to introduce Isla Plemming to everyone virtually. Anyway, Isla's one of our boarders. She's in Year 10 and she's coming to us from Warrnambool. Before I ask Isla the first question, just a really quick snapshot of our boarding community. We're not an enormous boarding school or community. We have about 100 boarding students split down the middle that come from international destinations, domestically, and just from around the corner, just depending on their circumstances. So they bring an enormous amount of diversity to our community, and we value them greatly. Isla, you're sitting at home, your Year 12 brother came back to school yesterday. That must have been difficult for you to, I assume, say goodbye to him and to stay at home. How are you feeling about everything at home at the moment?
Honestly, it was a bit quiet in the house last night and quiet this morning, and I was a bit lost without him, but you know, it's nice not having him here sometimes. It gets a bit annoying.
I love boarders. They give us such honest responses, and I know I want to ask you a question later, Isla, that is a little dangerous. We'll get to that in a moment. What are you looking forward to about coming back?
Honestly, I'm just looking forward to seeing all my friends and like the boarding. Like, I miss it so much. Like, it's literally like a second family, and you feel lost when you're not there, and I'm just so excited to come back and see everyone.
And as you know, and as your family knows, it's a big decision to make the decision, first of all, to come to a boarding school. What is it that you think has made it sort of work for you? What's allowed you to settle comfortably into our boarding community?
Definitely how kind all the staff were and how positive they were, and they'd always give you like help if you were struggling. And like definitely what helped me was just how like free it was, if you get what I mean. Like everyone just wanted to be around everyone, and everyone's just so welcoming, and yeah.
So I think I know the answer to this, but do you think as though you've changed? Is there something that you think boarding has given you that perhaps if you'd stayed at home you may not have been the same person you are at the moment?
I definitely think boarding has made me a lot more mature in the person I am, and I'm now able to do things without like my parents' help. And yeah, definitely it really helps boost your like maturism and makes you more like able to do things. Definitely.
And I think when we had our first conversation, when we first met at an enrolment interview, I asked you the question that I ask everyone, and that's why do you want to come to Geelong College? And I can't remember, but I suspect you probably told me or used the one word that everyone uses, and that's opportunities. There's lots of opportunities here for you. So what have some of those been for you now that you're here?
Before I come to the college, I was really into dancing, and I asked to compete with dancing, and the college offers a really, really good program for dancing, and the teacher, Miss Sunderland, really helped that. And I've honestly had a great time dancing with many new people, and like you get to experience different like genres of dance that I've never thought of doing before. Like we did an international kind of one. We'd learn about like different cultures, like with Chinese dancing. We'd learn about like the different ballets and everything. It was just a really good experience to learn the other side of it that I hadn't done before.
And question without notice, how does dancing work when you're at home, remote learning dancing? How did that go?
It was quite funny sometimes. We've been setting groups and we'd go off and learn a dance or learn a tutorial, and then we have to come back and perform it to the class. And it was quite funny to see people learning a dance in such a short amount of time and by yourself really dancing on a camera. It really is quite funny.
And I know all of the year 10s, as part of one of their PE tasks, had to teach someone in their family a dance and send that in too. So year 10, there's been lots of dancing. Well, it's a semi-dangerous question, only because I know you'll give me an honest answer, as all of the boarders do. I always ask this question. The two most important things in a boarder's life are food and leave. So tell us about both. What's the food like, and maybe just how does the leave work for you?
The food's actually quite nice. They like give a good variety of different kinds of foods. Like we have something different every night, obviously. And the lunches, everyone at day school wants us to get our lunches all the time and wants to try our lunches and tells us that it's the best ever. And it actually tastes very good, if you're asking me. Obviously, people are going to complain sometimes, but overall, it's a bit of a break from your parents cooking at home, I think. And with leave's very free. So I'm in year 10 and you can leave up until dinner from after school. You have to apply it and it will get accepted by the teaching staff if it's appropriate leave, or if it's over 4 hours, it sends your parents a notification. And anyways, if it's 2 hours, your parents always get a notification to tell you that they're safe and where they're going. So it's really good, and like they love to let us be able to go off on the weekends and see our friends or even go home. Like it's a really good program.
Yeah, and I think boarding has changed a lot from what it used to be a while back. It's one of the days where it was one phone call in the week and you didn't have much flexibility. There's an enormous amount now, which is why we also have some students boarding from just around the corner. So it works for everyone. I hope Mum wasn't listening to that comment about cooking and food at home, but I'll let you sort that one out. Thank you for that. It'd be great to see you when you come back on the 9th of June. And I'd now like to hand over to Kristen Wojdraski, our admissions manager. Thank you.
Hi everyone. Many of you have already spoken to me and my colleague Tracy about enrolling your child. So we're currently finalising our enrolments for 2021, and over the next week or so we'll begin processing applications for 2022 entry. But we do still have limited places available next year for entry into early learning, prep, year 4, year 6 and years 9 to 12, which is subject dependent. There is only a short wait list for year 7, so if you are looking for a position in year 7 next year, please get in touch with us at the office and we'll talk you through the process there. If you haven't already registered an application, please visit the Geelong College website if you'd like to and complete a registration for enrolment, because we do process these in the date order that we've received the applications. So it is best and very important to get your application in early. And if you've got any specific questions relating to your child's enrolment or just enrolments for the future, please also get in touch with us. We are back in the office now. So the office phone number on the website, 5226 3156, or via email at admissions@geelongcollege.vic.edu.au. And we can't wait to welcome everyone back to the school soon. So I'll now hand back over to Peter.
Well, thank you. Thanks, Christian. Thanks to everybody. And I'm sure that was useful, and it's always informative, and certainly to hear from the children. To hear from our students is just a wonderful thing. That the experiences of our staff are very important, obviously, but the students do give us those honest answers and a real sense of what this place is about. A couple of questions actually have come in, which has been helpful. It's been a couple, it's been two. And so perhaps I'll address both of those directly. The first one was just asking about the ratio of boys and girls throughout the middle and senior school. It's almost exactly 50-50 if you look at the total number. It varies a little bit from year group to year group, but it's pretty close. It's almost exactly 50-50 across the entire school. Break up the proportions in junior school varies sometimes quite significantly from year to year for the year groups, because the year groups are much smaller. But once you get in those year groups up around 150 to 170, which is what we have in years 7 to 12, it ends up being pretty close to 50-50. We've got one year group that's out of that at the moment, which upon reflection our current year 12, which we've got about 90 boys and about 65 girls. But as you move around, you wouldn't notice it. But across the total number of the school, it's about 50-50. Boarding is the same, 50-50 boys and girls, almost exactly 45-50 in both of the two houses, and the two separate houses as well. Something else just to flag about boarding is that it's a significant change for us as boarding has changed in the last few years, in recent years, the last 20 or 30 in particular, is that a significant proportion of our students have been day students before they come into boarding. So our numbers increase significantly as we move through years 11 and 12. So for some people, they come into boarding having never really imagined that they would. Every boarder's got a story around their circumstances, the fullness of their activities and the busyness of their schedules means that sometimes they do come into boarding for a short period of time, maybe a term, maybe a few weeks, or maybe even just a year. It's not a hotel, but it is increasingly flexible, and we have weekly boarders as well as full boarding to try and accommodate that. The focus of everything we do is to meet the needs of the students, and boarding has really helped to maintain continuity and full engagement of the students in the life of the school, which has been good. The other question was about devices, and are our students required to have personal iPads or computers? In fact, every student all the way down to year 4 has a computer of some sort, and it's actually school provided. So it's a standard computer across the school. So it's school provided. It's inclusive in the fees, and it's been a very significant platform of having that common device. We also do enable bring your own device in terms of some other support devices around that. As we've moved into the world with iPads as well, but that computer is the central device that is compatible with and connects perfectly with, did I say perfectly when I said IT? I said connects extremely well, always on most days perfectly, with the systems, with the software that we actually use, which is a very important thing in terms of stress and life of the kids for those sorts of things to work. But it does work well. That has really helped us a lot with this remote learning. We've been very fortunate to have an incredible IT team who've really been preparing for this moment for a number of years, for our students to be able to be away and involved in that off-site, and they've continued to provide support while they've been off the grounds. So I hope that that's useful and informative. As I said at the beginning, I hope that today is not just an opportunity to get lots of information, but to share something of the experience here, and for everybody to leave here with a feeling as to what the place is actually like, who we are, what's important here and how we go about it. I'd also like you to leave with a sense that we're prepared for your arrival, that we're very absolutely student focused. We're very keen to make sure that our young people fly beyond this place. This is not the end game for our students. It's not just about being at the Geelong College. The Geelong College is an enabler. It enables our young people to fly beyond. We've done that for 160 years and we see that happening for a long time into the future. Just in terms of wrapping up in a conclusion, we're nearly there. You will have received an email during this presentation that has links to our junior, middle and senior school video tours. I hope that you can enjoy these, or you can enjoy these at a time that's convenient for you. They're relatively short, but they offer a snapshot of each of the campuses and they cover a range of different learning experiences and the facilities. So have a look at them in time and I hope that you enjoy them. Again, as we've said, Kristen's particularly keen to receive questions, to field questions. There's often questions about specifics around logistics of buses and all those sorts of things. We've got lots of ways of fielding those questions at an appropriate time in an appropriate way. We're very happy to talk to people about that because it is an important part of the logistics of being here. I hope that it's been a useful experience and that it's provided you with something of an insight into our school. I would encourage you though to visit the place when we're able and allowed. We have a number of events. You could monitor those through our websites. You can find out there's a number of days that we have. Obviously, the open days are the flagship for those. But to come and don't believe anything necessarily that I say, but to talk to the students as you come around and you're involved in it. They have a true sense of this place. They are absolutely passionate about it. They enjoy their school and they love coming to school. And that's a wonderful thing for us to be able to say about this place, that the children really love being here. Thank you very much for being a part of today. I hope that it's been informative, a little bit novel, and I want to thank very much all my staff involved in this today. Everybody's been terrific. We've all been a little bit nervous about it, and also we have the IT team in the background and who've assisted us greatly in bringing it all together. So we look forward to seeing people here in the future. There's no real substitute for coming here, but so we look forward to having people here soon. But I hope today's been helpful. Thank you so much. All the best.